spanking new, fresh as
First
can
sign
be.
of Sasquatch
Bigger than
contact is
ever.
not always a track.
Third tree break over the greatest
In
tree
my
break.
experiences, the body notices the field change before the eyes see anything. And if you are only looking for tracks, tree breaks, or audio, you may already be missing the beginning of the encounter. So after years of feet on the ground, field documentation, witness stories, and repeated wilderness patterns, I have seen the same sequence show up again and again. The forest changes first, the body reacts second, and the physical evidence often comes after the perception shift. And that sequence matters because most people start documenting too late. In this video, I'm breaking down the 3 layers of Bigfoot evidence most people miss. We have the physical layer, the environmental layer, and the body perception layer. I'll show you what changes first, why most investigators overlook it, and why the strongest evidence may not be one isolated sign, but the full pattern that happens around it. Most people begin with the final piece of evidence. They find the track, they hear the knock, they see the break, the tree break. They notice movement in the woods. And they say, this is where the encounter started. But I don't think that is always true from noticing it over and over again. I think, and I have seen, that is where the encounter became visible. So there was a big difference. Because before the track, something may have changed in the environment. Before the knock, your body may have already reacted. And before the movement, the forest may have gone quiet. And if you are not trained to notice those first signs, you may only document the last layer. So that is why so much Sasquatch evidence feels disconnected, right? So people collect the sign, but they miss the sequence. And the sequence is where the pattern lives. So the first layer is the obvious one. Physical evidence. This includes footprints, tree breaks, sighting, structure, knocks, whoops, rocks, clacks, movement, audio. It can go on, right? Visual sightings. This is the layer most people focus on because it's the easiest to show. You can photograph a footprint, you can record a sound, you can point to a broken tree, and you can bring someone back to the exact spot and say, look at this. And I want to be clear. Physical evidence matters. Wherever you are on your journey, it can be different for everyone. I am not dismissing that, okay? But physical evidence without context is weak. A footprint tells you something passed through, yeah. But it's not going to tell you what happened before the print was found. A knock tells you a sound happened, but it does not tell you whether the forest changed before the sound, right? A tree break tells you something affected the environment. And again, it does not tell us whether your body already knew something was nearby. This is where people make the mistake. They treat physical evidence like the whole story. But getting it? Physical evidence may only be the final page. So when someone finds evidence, the first question is usually, what did you find? But a higher consciousness question or a better question could be, what happened before you found it? Did the forest go quiet? Did the birds stop? did the body react? Did the air feel heavy? Like, I mean, there's so many different questions. Did your attention get pulled to one direction, right? Did you feel watched before anything happened? That is not fluff. That is field data. It may not be proof by itself, but it is part of the pattern. And if the same pattern repeats across different locations, different witnesses, and different encounters, then it deserves attention. I mean, if it's repeatable, that's how you start to get scientific evidence, right? It has to be a repeatable event. And if it's repeatable with all types of different individuals, you're onto something, right? So the second layer is environmental evidence. This is the layer that happens around the encounter. The forest shifts, the sound drops, the atmosphere changes. Birds, they stop calling. The insects go quiet. In that air, it feels dense. It feels thick. The woods feel charged. Sometimes it feels like the entire environment is suddenly aware of you, not peacefully quiet, a different kind of quiet, a focus quiet, a silence that feels like something is listening. A lot of witnesses can describe this before anything physical happens. They do not see anything yet. They do not hear anything yet. But something changes. The forest goes from ordinary to alert, and then comes to the knock, or the movement, vocalization, or the feeling that something is standing just beyond the visible line of the trees. This is why environmental evidence matters, because it gives timing to the event. It tells you what changed before the physical sign appeared. And when environmental change is followed by physical evidence, the pattern becomes much stronger. Now, this is important. Not every quiet forest means Sasquatch. Not every strange feeling means contact. Not every animal reaction means something unexplained is nearby, okay? So the woods are alive, weather does change, predators move. Animals respond to things we do not notice. Your own nervous system can also create fear. So no, we do not just label everything Bigfoot. That is not serious research, but we also should not dismiss everything that cannot be photographed immediately. Real field work requires both sides. Stay skeptical, stay open. Do not force a conclusion, but do not throw away the pattern just because it is subtle. That is the balance. The third layer is body evidence, and this may be the most misunderstood layer. Because the moment you say the body knows, some people think you're abandoning evidence. But that is not what I mean. I'm saying the body is a part of the instrument, right? Your body often notices things before the conscious mind catches up. Your breathing changes, your skin reacts, like you get truth bumps, goosebumps. Your stomach tightens, your attention can lock onto a specific direction. You suddenly feel the urge to stop walking. You feel like you should not be moving forward. Like a lot of people say, I freeze in the track. It's like there's a boundary and I shouldn't progress, right? So, or you get the strong sense that you are being watched before there's any physical confirmation. And again, this does not automatically prove Sasquatch. Yes, that's right. But when the body reacts, the forest changes. And then physical evidence follows. That is no longer just a random feeling. That is a sequence, body response, environmental shift, physical sign. That sequence is what most people miss. So here's the pattern I keep paying attention to. First, there is a perception shift. Something in the body changes. You feel watched. You feel pressure. You feel pulled toward one direction. You stop before you know why. Second, the environment responds. The sound drops. The forest feels still. The atmosphere changes. The area feels charged. Third, something physical happens. Knock, clack, a whoop, movement, a sighting, a print, a track, a tree break, a structure. That order matters. Because if you only document the physical evidence, you may think the event started at step 3. But the encounter may have started at step 1, and that changes how we investigate. So this is where I think Bigfoot research has to evolve, not away from the physical evidence, but beyond physical evidence alone. If we only treat Sasquatch like a normal animal, we may miss the intelligence of the encounter. But if we only treat Sasquatch like something mystical, we lose the grounded evidence trail. So the strongest work is in the bridge. It's the physical signs, the environmental shifts, body perception, pattern recognition. This is where the investigation gets stronger, because now we are not just asking, was it a track? We are asking, what happened before the track? What changed in the forest? What repeated across the encounter? What physical sign came after? That gives us a much fuller picture. So if you are in the woods and something changes, here's what I recommend. First, stop. Do not immediately react. Do not rush towards the sound, and don't panic. Do not instantly label it. Just stop. Become neutral. Second, pay attention to the environment. What changed? What is changing? Have the birds stopped? Is the wind shifting? Is the forest so quiet? Is the atmosphere feeling heavier? Did the direction of the attention change? Now, third, notice your body. Did your breathing change? Did you get goosebumps? Did your gut tighten? Did you feel watched? What about feeling warned? Did you feel pulled toward one area? Fourth, document the physical evidence. What happened after the shift? Did you hear a knock? A clack? Vocalization? What about a movement? Did you find a footprint? A structure, a tree break? Then write that sequence down in order. Not just what happened, but what happened first. That is the key, because the order may reveal the pattern. So here is the main point. Bigfoot evidence may not begin with the thing you can photograph. It may begin with the thing you feel. Then the forest changes. Then the physical signs appear. And if that pattern repeats enough times, we should not ignore it. We should study it. Not blindly, not emotionally, and not carelessly, but seriously, you guys. Because the most important evidence may not be the one track in the mud. It may be the full sequence surrounding that track. So the body, the field, the sign. That is the 3-layer model. And yes, you start looking at encounters this way, you may realize something. You weren't just missing evidence because it was not there. You were missing it because you were only looking for the final layer. So now I want to hear from you. Have you ever experienced this 3-layer pattern? And hey, if you recognize this pattern, you start going out and recognizing the pattern, comment. Did your body react first? What about the forest change? I want you to comment 3 layers below. Tell me what happened. Was it silence, a knock, feeling, print, tree break, structure, movement, physical sighting? I want to know the order it happened in, because the order matters. And if you want more field-based breakdowns on Sasquatch evidence, forest intelligence, and the deeper patterns most people miss, subscribe to Deep Woods Discoveries. Because the evidence may not start where people think it starts. And sometimes the first sign is not the track. And sometimes the first sign is that the forest already knows you are there.